All right, you're welcome to the Polity this beautiful Thursday, and I'm excited to be here. Like I say all the time, I'm very excited every single time. I hope that you're excited also at your end. I hope that your day's been good, and just in case your day's been a little bit on the low, I come to assure you that because you're connected to this program, you are likely to get information, you're likely to get education, enlightenment, and some humor. And before you know it, your spirit would have been lifted and things will pick up even right now. By the way, I hope you have had lunch or brunch, whichever one whichever one it is. And if you've not had lunch or brunch, I have a guest in the house who will send you lunch. I won't mention his name. Well, so now welcome once again to the Polity. My name is Dario Mogu, and I have wonderful guests with me. I have a guest who's not a guest. You'll get to know in a few, maybe from next week. He's a guest, but he's not a guest, and he's sitting next to me.
My name is Osadebamwen.
Exactly. And then I have next to him Samaila Musa, right?
Yes.
Correct. And he's the Director of Grassroots Mobilization Initiative.
Yeah.
Used to be Secretary, right?
No, used to be the Director of Strategic Communications for Coalition of Northern
Of Northern Groups.
Yeah.
So
that's National Coordinator of Grassroots Mobilization Initiative.
Right.
Yeah.
So you heard it from the horse's mouth, and so there are no errors now. You're welcome, Samaila.
Thank you for having me.
Good to have you once again.
Yeah. Thank you.
And quickly, what are we talking about? We have, if we have the time, we'd like to take a look at two different topics. But in case we're unable to, then we'll just stick to one. And maybe I should just talk about the first one. The first one has to do with the search for a new INEC chairman. You and I know, most people know, it's public knowledge that Professor Yakubu Mahmood handed over 2 days ago after his 10-year tenure. Of course, you know how these things are. Fantastic. He has to proceed on retirement leave. So most probably he has 3 months to go from when he retired. So that's where we are right now, which means that the position of INEC Chair is vacant. And so Nigerians are saying, what kind of a person should we have? Having had the taste of several INEC chairs, the INEC that metamorphosed from NEC, from FEDECO, and all that. There used to be Justice Ovio Whiskey. There used to be, what's his name now?
Professor, we have Professor Wu.
Professor Maurice Wu, and we had a Jega before Yakubu Mahmoud,
popular before them.
Who will it be this time around? Who should it be? In the eyes of Nigerians, who should it be? That is the persona, the kind of characteristics that we expect to see in the person. We don't have the prerogative of appointing anybody, but at least we can suggest and say this is the kind of person that fits the bill. Now, talking about that kind of prescription, let's hear Samaila's prescription.
Okay, so thank you for having me once again. I think the position of the chairmanship of INEC is a very sensitive one that can determine quite a lot of things, because if a country runs on democracy, the process of democracy is through electioneering, and you're talking about the man who oversees every election that happens in the country. So that is a very sensitive position. It's a position that comes with a lot of pressure. You and I will agree with the saying that whenever things are moving smoothly and in order, is because there are few Nigerians there. The moment you have Nigerians in their numbers in that place, you can be sure the system will be sabotaged. You understand? So it's a very, very sensitive, in the sense that I'm privy to some information sometimes back when Jega was in office, and I escorted a lawyer to see one of the I think he's about the second in command to Jega at the time, an old man. And he was describing to us some of the kind of pressure they undergo. And he said to us that, look, in this office, someone came try to see me, and I was very busy on that day. He filled the form. I didn't know. I couldn't recognize who he was. But then 2 days after, in my estate, I left the mosque, and the person was beckoning on me, "Salaam alaikum, salaam alaikum," and I responded, and it reminded me it was him who came to the office to look for me. And I said, okay, that's fine. And he said he is a political consultant, and he has come to introduce himself to me. And he said, okay, nice to meet you. And he said, sir, in those 2 vehicles parked up there, I have money in pounds and in dollars that is worth about 300 million naira. That was then. And I've just come to introduce myself with that token.
With that token?
Yeah.
300 million naira?
Yes.
All right, okay.
And
I like those kind of tokens.
And the man said, look, I'm in my 70s now. In fact, I was already had said no more service until I was called upon to take this appointment. My last child is 41 years old, and he's the least active of his siblings. What do I need this money for? Don't you have poor people around you, whether your village or whatever, that if I take this money, where am I taking it to? None of my kids need them. And I'm looking at my grave already. So I don't need it. I'm sorry. And he excused himself and walked away. Now, when you see that kind of thing, or you painted that kind of scenario, that will give you an insight into the kind of pressure.
And that's quite regularly.
That's quite regularly.
Yes.
Shortly after Jega came into office, he came with someone who was his PA at the time. So everyone knows, oh, okay, Jega brought in this guy, came with him as his PA. And then the guy went and collected 500 million from some politicians because he needed to do some assignments for them through Jega. And what the first thing Jega did was to make sure that he returned the money first before he sacked him. And so that sent a strong signal across board that if the man who he brought could be sacked unceremoniously like this because he received money, then everybody
needs to
had to just start, you understand, had to start straighten themselves. So that's the kind of pressure. So if you have people who really don't have integrity, and that's the angle I'm coming out from, is a position that requires people with high sense of integrity that will not compromise under whatever pressure or some kind of inducement. You understand? So that's what we have all across. And a lot of times, sometimes it's not just about the man at the helm of affairs. Who are the people surrounding him as well?
Yes.
You understand? Because in every system, you can always be sure there's going to be a Judas.
Sure.
So the selection process has to be looked into holistically, because you can be at the top. You are the only one that is righteous. You are not the one who is conducting election in Edo State, for example. You understand?
You can't be everywhere.
You can't be everywhere. So, and you're going to be acting on information that you are being fed with. So the system itself had to be rejigged, needs to be rejigged, and then the position of the chairman, his CV or his profile need to be looked into. There needs to be, I don't know if that position goes through DSS for screening. I'm not sure. I know it does for
sure we don't have the kind of experience we've had with the man of innovation.
Yeah, so you can understand that position is a position that leads, and you need somebody that is highly cerebral, somebody of high intellect, and I'm sure perhaps that's one of the reasons why we saw that area is now being infiltrated by professors, even though some of them are the most dishonorable professors that they have displayed in recent times. We saw how some of them got their hands, soiled. You understand? So you need to really do what they call this background check on it, on whoever is going to occupy that space, and try to see who are the people he's been affiliated with in the past. What are his antecedents? Who are the people that are bringing him forward, for example? Is he coming to do some political assignment for some people
some jobs,
or some jobs, you know, for some people, or the system has just thrown them up, just like the system threw some other persons up as well in the past, you know. Yeah, so that's my take on the position of who should be the chairman of INEC.
I'm sure Secretary is ready to add some value to that.
Well, Mr. Samaila has really spoken about the quality of person expected to head the critical electoral commission of the country. What is important is that integrity should be speaking, capacity should be speaking, competence is also very critical for whoever is going to take up that office, and the person must be open also to learn, because take it or leave it, whatever view that would be expressed of Professor Mahmood, he learned on the process, and he was a quick learner also, beside innovation he brought. Now, that person, the nation have them in abundance.
You think so?
They are, because they have not been thrown up. Until Jega came up to the scene, who knew about him and integrity nationwide as it is known today? You get it? There was one who was in Cross River some time ago. That was a Mike Igini. So that character is there. I think even the acting chairperson of the commission is somebody that has been said to be Agbamuche. Someone that has been said to be one without an impeached character, as it were. Wow. But again, we must understand that the security agencies have a lot of job to do in this regard. They already have details of these persons. Look at the commissioners. That's college of commissioners within the commission. Which of them stands out and stands prepared? They know them, because the president may not know these persons, but they can make the recommendation. Even though we know that the next election is critical for the ruling party, but a lot of politics will come into play when it comes to selection of or appointment of any such person into that office. But however, while all that consideration is going on, Nigerians will want to have somebody who himself is independent, so that he can be able to independently manage the commission to deliver public trust, because it is the will of the people which will have come out to which should come out as a result of whatever outcome of an election is, and that is the investment of public trust, as it were, into that particular election, producing the outcome of whoever the candidate will be in whatever of the office that is being sought for. So it is very important that the government looks at this: integrity, competence, a quick learner, get it, as somebody with capacity. Because someone who is lacking in all of these may just end up creating for us a retrogression, because given the level of work that has been done in at the commission.
Now, these are very great how do you say it now, criteria that you people have set, and going by the fact that every election in this country has never been fully accepted, does it then mean that these qualities were lacking in all of the past chairmen?
Not necessarily because it is lacking in that one person. Remember that the chairman of the commission is the returning officer for the, what do you call it, the national election. But before that, every state, every local government, every ward, they all have their returning officers at that level. Now, it is the character that is expected of the national electoral officer that is also expected of these persons, so that as it permeates, they now begin to reflect in the various stages of the result, coming from the bottom to the top.
Now, I'll take it from there and I'll go to Samaila. Are we now saying, because you see, in this same country, there was a time when somebody ascended the throne. And for weeks and a few months, we had something called body language, which meant that because a new sheriff came to town, certain things seem to have changed in the right direction. Now, is it not possible to have a chairman that is upright, that has got integrity, and whose characteristics
will inspire
others? If not, of course, you don't expect that everybody will be inspired. But if you inspire a majority of the officers under your command, I'm sure that will go a long, long way. Why haven't we had, even when we still talk about Jega as one of the most outstanding of the chairmen. Now, why is it that even in that era, we still had plenty of persons who were not of that frame?
Yeah, so the thing is, everyone has the right to choose who he wants to be in life. You will be the one to build your character by yourself. Nobody is going to build character for you. So, if you say, when it was Jega's time, still there are some few individuals, that is who they are. As a matter of fact, a lot of times when you spoke about a new sheriff in town, what happened a lot of times is because people are actually scared,
and then they're studying. They're like
they already have their intentions,
yes,
but that cannot be executed because they are afraid of the man in the helmet.
Office. Exactly.
No, but not necessarily that they actually display their real character. People will pretend under certain guys that, okay, anyway, let him just do his 5 years and leave the place, so that we can even make small money too, because that's the notion. The moment you attain any position in Nigeria, what is expected of you, what your people are expecting from you, is that it is your turn. You cannot say you are now INEC chairman and you retire and you can't show anything. You can't really point at things you have done in your community. That's the mentality. So some persons are also under pressure to want to do something back home, or to people around them, or to relatives and families.
Additional patronage.
And that is where corruption is started from. Whatever process that is with the intention of some inducement or some benefits, you're already accommodating some level of corruption in it. So, but by and large, is that everywhere in the world there's no perfect system anywhere.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, sometimes you refer to advanced climes, but a lot of times they have their issues, and that's why there's no country that has been devoid of protest, regardless of whoever it is that you feel should be the president. Some persons will still feel there's more to be done. It's like a lot of times, like when you're watching football, we the spectators feel there's a better way to play it than the professional footballer. but and there are some other issues that are also in those positions as well, is that because governance is not done on the pages of newspaper or on national TV, there are issues inside that some of them are not actually voicing out, that they are dealing with. But the integrity of the person, because what I will expect is that if you are a man of integrity and you try your best to change the system and you are not making any headway, instead of you to get caught up in it and you have reported to get necessary people,
get messed up,
then resign.
Exactly.
And leave and let people know the reason why you left, so that people's eye is going to be on that seat to say, okay, someone has resigned based on XYZ. Let's see who is coming, whether it's going to fix it, because already now people are aware of the rough in that place, or whatever it is that is making people to quit. I'm aware of a particular time during even this past chairman of INEC, that where he lives in Maitama, certain politicians were trying to see him, so he keeps dodging, that he doesn't want to have any meeting with any politician. A friend of mine was renovating his house at the time, and a PA of a governor who lives around the neighborhood also came, talking to the guy doing the renovation and all that, is there a way they can reach the chairman that Oga wants to talk to him. And this man said he doesn't want to see any politician. He doesn't want to entertain any form of meeting. In fact, a DG of the same people who gave him the appointment, DG of campaign, and I'm talking about Rotimi Amechi, was looking for a way to access him at some point. And the man was dodging. You understand? So there's a lot of pressure, but it all depends on the integrity of the person who is standing firm and holding his ground to say, look, I've come to do my job. Please allow me to do my job. Nigerians are very funny. One time I saw an advert of where a local government chairman in his office, by the time he was resuming his office, he already had about 10-15 people waiting to see him.
By the time he was resuming
in the morning, waiting to see him. So they keep coming one after the other because they voted for him, but they are not allowing him to do his work. He finishes seeing this one, as this one is leaving, another person is coming in. To answer call, he will go to inside his toilet because people are already there too. And as he was closing from work, some people are sitting down on the mats, waiting with different things. Some persons couldn't pay school fees of their children, some persons were in the hospital and all that. And so the essence of that advertorial was to send a message to people that, look, you voted for them, but you are not allowing him to do the job. From morning till night, he has been attending to people, no time to attend to any paperwork on his table. And he gets home the same thing. So these are some of the pressures you see. When people occupy positions, people are always bombarding them, and sometimes some of them will pack their files, even go home and work from home and stuff like that. But essentially what I'm trying to say is this: can we as a people also help the people who are at the helm of affairs
to discharge
their duties without any interference? Because it's not everybody that you can turn down that you don't want to see. That's the funniest part. There are some names that you know that no, you just have to. Somebody gave someone a note to NNPC one time, it was a long time ago, and the GMD of NNPC said there's no vacancy at the time. And so the man asked the boy to go back and get the phone number. It was that time there was no GSM of the GMD's office, and he mentioned he called the line and said they should tell him that it's also person that is talking. So the GMD, they passed him on the line and he said, I sent someone with a note and you said there's no vacancy. If you are removed from that position, will there be vacancy? That's the position of GMD. If you are sacked today, is there going to be a vacancy on a seat or not? He said, okay, sir, we'll create something, sir. So a lot of times it's a system that it's not just about, it's not one-sided. There are a lot of pressure coming in from different directions that sometimes you don't even know what to do per time. But by and large is that we want the quality of persons who will come in and say, look, if I have to do this, then you can have my resignation letter. I'm not going to be part of this rot. I'm not going to be part of this. I'm not going to be part of that. And then gradually, because we can't get there in one day. And I've cited this example several times. The former president once told us that, look, if they give you just Nigerian police to go and rejig, they will make a mess of your integrity. Because you have 80% of people who join the force simply because they felt there's corruption in there. They know the salary is not
That's the very reason why
they join.
So that's what those sets will be the major problem you're going to have to rejig the system. You know, because they're coming in also influencing the rest of the 20%. Maybe 5% will escape that influence. So you have a heavy load before you. You don't even know where to start sometimes. Because you're not going to be everywhere as the IG of police or whoever it is, whatever they call you. So these still people, and these people who you are sending out sometimes, they are the same people who already have their own mindsets of what they want to come and achieve, and so they don't care. I was calling a friend from a few months back that I saw one of his van headed into a warehouse that I know does not belong to him because he runs some chains of supermarkets here, and he said, yeah, that's one of the things they do. He's probably collecting money from that place. And I said, okay, infiltrate the system with your own brothers. He says, Samaila, you don't understand. He says, your own brothers that will tell the others that you are a very stingy man, so that let's undercutting. So that is the problem we are having. If we are living in a nation where you have people in your shop the most highest selling item will be replaced. They will be bringing their own carton and be hiding it. As they are selling your own on the shelf, you replacing it with your own. So you are not seeing
with their own.
With their own. So the profit is coming to us. You are not seeing sales, but they are selling.
They are selling.
You understand? It's a system where
every time you go to the shelf, the item is still there in your own record.
They might just give you money for either one or two. So you are paying rent for the shop, but they are running the machine. You are running the generator. It's a system where somebody will bring his own POS as a cashier to be collecting from customers.
Wow. all right. These are realities, and that we cannot run away from.
Yeah.
Now, you know, the picture you painted, I can attest to this, that the current deputy...
It's so dreamy that we shouldn't remember.
I'm telling you, yeah. The deputy Senate president, this current one, Barao Jibrin, I've been to his office in the past several times, and every single day, you will meet not less than 10, 15 people waiting.
At the time you came.
At the time I came. And as they are leaving, others are coming to take their seats. That man, I mean, I used to respect him as a man of the people, but this is the kind of thing that will also not allow him to be as effective as he probably would want. Because again, if he travels to Kano, it's the same story.
Yes.
So I think that is that puts responsibility on us as a people to also our appointees to work. Fantastic point that you made there.
But it's important to also add to that we need it that way. Our politicians are the one who want to get attention, and so because of that, they want to make people feel they are a man of the people, and at the same time, they are not doing the job for which they have been elected. And at the end of the day, it is this same person, because you are not serving the public interest, you are serving the few interests that are around you. At the end of the time, it is the public that will now begin to judge you for lack of capacity. Meanwhile, those who are the ones who were close to you, who possibly were having these pecuniary benefits, as it were, are the ones who, and their voice are very low, because it will be drowned in the majority of the population.
Some of them don't even want to show up. They don't want to be seen to have that being part of you.
So it is important that the public figures should draw a line between this kind of. You could have somebody who's attending to them while you attend to your job, because public office is not for you to begin to have entertainment. It's not an office where you just set up an entertainment what we call meetings with several persons, while the job itself.
Well, when you consider that they come via the support and all of these people, it's a difficult one.
Well, this country, at a time, this president had to announce that anyone coming to visit him should please remain where they are. Right? He has he has work to do. Isn't it? That was because he made it clear, and from that point it reduced. Those who had reached genuine reason, it is not as if people don't have reasons to come. You get it, but when you set a signal, when people know that this is it, that is just it.
Like what the one he talked about, Mahmoud Yakubu saying he doesn't want to see anybody. Is it Jega?
Yeah.
Okay, now, let's, when you talk about integrity, both of you have harped on the need for integrity as a major quality of the person who occupies the seat. When you talk about integrity, does that include, we need to be able to define it, does that include the ability to say no when the desires of the person that appointed you clash with public interest? Does it include that?
Integrity speaks,
which means you don't have to kowtow to.
Integrity speaks to the conviction of the individual.
Yes.
That what is right is right, and what is wrong is wrong.
Yes.
And so when there are times where he may think, okay, he could even give you an advice that will help you. Okay, look, gentlemen, instead of coming to throw this kind of money at you, why don't you just go and build your base? Have discussion with the various groups that are in your area so that they can swell the vote for you. Because what you need is the vote and not the changing of the figures from this point. So go and do your grassroots mobilization. Do it very well. Use different techniques. He can advise you.
And he says, I appoint you. You are speaking grammar to me now.
Yeah, of course. That can come. But again, a man of integrity is a man of integrity. He knows that it is between him and his God, and then him and the people who a public trust which has been entrusted unto him. And so he stands by that. He is not going to offend you because he wants to offend you. But by virtue of implementing the job, you may take offense at it. But that is not that he wanted to offend you. And so you cannot blame him for that. Of such kind of persons, when Jiga did it, did he have a fall? No. He did not. And we had the support of the president. We must also admit that fact. Because he had the support of the president to remain steadfast to what was right. Yeah, he enjoyed that support. If he never had that support, anything could have happened.
Exactly.
Because I remember that night we were at the International Conference Center as a reporter then. At the International Conference Center when that Ruby drama came up. Anything could have happened at that time. We saw the way security men were moving around because of the directive and information they got. The same information that got them to protect Jiga himself. The same what they call would have come is okay, whisk him out of that place, and then the whole thing will go. Or allow. Here was a man who's today celebrated all over the world, President Goodluck Jonathan, for allowing the man to do what was his job. So we charge the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. We charge him to also stand that whoever is going to emerge, so that at the end of the day, it is the interest of the public. It has been a man who has been preaching democracy for several years. It is now his turn, and then the test of his true conviction to democratic ethos is now beckoning on him, and it is for him to respond to that.
Right. Now, still looking at a person who occupies the seat, the hot seat, if you like. Now, do you think that the way we currently recruit that person is correct, where the president has the privilege of selecting 1, 2 or so and say this is the person I want, and all that? Or should there be a collegiate? Should there be like a body that brings, should there be a reform to that effect?
So I think you can't blame any president for having the privilege of appointing the INEC chairman. It is a constitutional issue.
That's what I'm saying. Should it remain so?
So, well, that will now be the Nigerian decision to say, well, where are our National Assembly members? This is what we want. We want that to be rescinded, or we want that to be changed, because it has to follow a constitutional process to change that. But I don't see anybody trying to discuss that when we're approaching an election year. You understand? But a lot of times, you see, Nigerian politicians are all the same.
Funny.
People will come and start telling you the reason why I shouldn't be the president now, because they are out of power. They feel they will be change for whatever. When they get down power, they feel there's nobody should talk about that now. You understand?
Sure.
So they are all the same. But I'm just sometimes it's appalling the way I see people acting on sentiment because some politicians came out and start shouting that no, this process is flawed, that process is flawed. They also had the opportunity to change that thing before that time. Yes. They didn't, because it favors them back
at that time.
At that time, and now they are shouting. So we will always be who we are
if we continue this way.
Yeah, definitely. But if we want to change that system, let it be immediately after election. Don't approach election year and start crying that the process of where were your brain when you were thinking? I mean, were you thinking when this man won the election, he's not going to be there to conduct the next election? You understand what I'm saying? So you should start agitating when the government is still fresh, so that we know that you are serious. Because some of them will be crying today now. Were in the same party maybe a year or two ago. Just recently something happened, they had to leave, and all of a sudden they realized that the president should not appoint the chairman of INEC.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? So let us just be focused for now on who emerges. What are his qualities? What are the characteristics that is being put in place to say, yeah, we want people of this, of that, of that. And what are his antecedents? Because it's different when you just, the CV on paper is different from character that people know. You understand? CV is just qualification of where you have worked before, and educational qualifications. That's not, it's just by the way. your integrity.
Nobody writes corrupt.
Nobody will tell you that. They will write trustworthy and all that. So let's be focused on who is emerging now or who is going to be appointed. But I want to trust the system because the president is also aware that the whole nation or the whole world is watching to see who is going to be the next INEC chairman. I know the time this man came on board, what's he called?
Mahmoud,
the outgoing one now.
Okay, there are two Mahmouds actually.
Yeah,
Mahmoud Jega and
Yakub Mahmoud. He didn't really lobby, so to say. But some persons felt he has the quality to be, and for whatever reason, they forwarded his name because at that time he just left Tetford, and they were pushing for him until the president just sent for him on a Sunday, and he took another friend of his and they drove down to Abuja to come and see the president, and that was when the president intimated him that this is what we have decided and all that. So you can see. I wouldn't want people who are desperate to become INEC chairman to be
those are the ones that are easily pliable.
You understand?
Yeah.
There's a motive.
Yes.
When it gets to that place of desperation, there's a motive. So this should be some of the things that the president should look into to say, look, because he's also going to leave behind a legacy. We're going to refer to it later on. Did you see how Tinubu appointed the last INEC chairman?
Yes.
You know
the way we still hail Jonathan's appointment.
You understand? So and also, like, just to correct something, the man who said he doesn't want to see anybody was the past one. This is Mahmoud. He's the one who said he just want to do his job, please, because he's even scared. You know, it's a sensitive position that people feel.
If anybody comes to you, of course, they start asking, who is this person? Oh, he has had a meeting with this person.
You understand?
It's
and you can even easily be framed. Mindful of the kind of people
as they come to you, they may even have loose people hanging around,
or even recording you and all that. So you should. It's a very dangerous and sensitive position. If you know, if you are not a careful person, you're going to get
importantly, also in all of this, the security agencies should not let us down.
In the screening process,
do thorough checks on these individuals whose names are going to be submitted, so that at the end of the day, the president will not be misled by their own what they call failure of doing what they should do of their due diligence, such that he will now make an appointment. Whereas we blame the president who he box stops on his table, but while it is going to get there, that is why you have these various paraphernalia of states that he can rely on.
Supposed to
the office is such that it can duplicate itself in various manner. You get this done, you get this done, you get this done. So the security agency, of course, we are asking if DSS is involved. Of course, they are involved, because once issue that borders on a public figure coming nationally, they have a responsibility to ensure that person is in compliance with the ethos of the nation as a and so that's they should do, so that we don't have a very a man who is acceptable by the Nigerian public and also of impeachable character, so that can lead us to the 2027 unimpeachable character, so that it will be able to lead us smoothly towards 2027. I will go out of it. I will not have this experience of inconclusive that dotted
era. Now, right. You were talking about there was something, but I'll come back when it comes. Now, but let me go to something else that you said before.
Okay.
That advice could come from the man, whoever appointed him, rather than asking me to do
why don't you do the right thing
with your people? Now, the point is that I'm trying to make is that why we blame government, blame president, blame this, blame that, the day we truly believe in the power of the individual vote that comes together collectively to decide who wins, I believe that the tables will turn, things will change dramatically, because there's a way somebody will win, you cannot rig him out.
Yeah.
Do you believe that? There's a way somebody will win clearly it's difficult to read him out.
So, but you must also know that in a contest of very popular candidates,
yes,
such kind of women may not come up because both candidates are popular, and it is, we have had experiences all over the world where it is too close to call by virtue of the support base that each individual parties have. So in such a case, that is where it is very critical that the integrity of the umpire
comes to bear.
Should speak.
Yeah, but I'm just saying that there could be cases where it is so, I mean, it's so clear that, I mean, if somebody clearly has 15 million votes and the next person to him has 5 million votes, without any paintings of any documents, without any falsification, without whatever, you will take you a whole lot of work that will cost you, I mean, so much, that will put you in a bad place, that the people will be able to see clearly that you are doing what is wrong, if you have to now close up a 9 million gap.
We need to advocate on the issue of technology. We're going to close up this kind of thing gradually. We're going there gradually. It is when you don't have technology that this kind of nonsense can go up.
Now let's talk about, even as we talk about what we expect of the new person, what exactly can we point at as the legacy of the outgone chairman?
Well, I think to a large extent, so far he's been the longest serving.
He served out
the chairman two terms.
Yeah.
I don't think that has ever happened before until his turn. You know, I think he has done his best. Like I said earlier, a lot of times it's not just about who is there. You know.
But that's the price of leadership.
That's the price of leadership. So, but also we need to also talk about the people who will come in as sabotage and all that, because in some areas you might want to say, because there was a time all you hear about is INEC chairman, INEC chairman, INEC chairman, while the 2023 election was around the corner. INEC chairman, INEC chairman, INEC chairman. But there are also many other factors. You understand? If you believe that in your domain, your candidate will get like 80% of the votes, based on what you're seeing on social media, you are forgetting that most of the social media warriors or keyboard warriors don't even have voters card. A lot of them will rather be on their bed on election day, on their keyboards, on their phones, typing how they have won the election, their candidate have won the election. They don't go out. People will rather sit down and drinking joints and enjoy, because they see that day as a day to just flex and all that. So there are such kind of people who believe that by the kind of support they are seeing, ordinarily their candidate should have won that election from that area. But in the reality, it's not so. You didn't go to work. All you did was that you assume that you have won, and the other person knows that that area is a problem for them, and they have gone to work even overnight. Very hard. So sometimes beyond the noise, some persons also have gone to work overnight with some inducements. Please vote our candidate. Vote. You can't hear those kind of things on INEC. INEC is not the one who gave people money to vote for a particular candidate. So when in the morning the results started coming in, you assume that people love your candidate, but this person has gone to work the entire time, and he has obtained the things without necessarily involving INEC in it. So there are those dimensions to all these problems that we're having. We have lots of places where, in fact, I once witnessed an election in this country where a governor, late now, in Oyo State, the moment his godfather called him that they've already sealed me up in this town. The security, we can't even move anything out of my house. They can't move out their own voter's card, or that they were ballot papers that they were going to use. Another person used military officers to seal up the whole of that area, and he called the governor. The governor in his own hometown came out with shot maker with a pistol in his hand. These buses where conductors stand, that was where he stood, and about 3 or 4 convoys of his boys were following him behind, and they started going to polling units and started hijacking the boxes.
Wow.
Is it INEC who did that? Is it INEC who did that? That wasn't INEC. So we need to look at, we as a people, what can the INEC chairman do in the face of that kind of violence?
Yeah, I mean, I think that the INEC has power to sanction those kind of votes.
Yeah, to sanction those areas.
And
by the time your areas you risk being rejected.
You
have to be.
Or I think that's what in some cases threw up the inconclusive things that Yakubu Mahmoud.
But talking about the successes
and legacy,
the legacy of Mahmoud Jega. I mean, Mahmoud Yakubu Mahmoud. Sorry, we need to do. That's the reason why you are spelling the two.
Yeah, different. Yeah, this one is one is I mean,
Mahmoud Yakubu, we must accept the fact that indeed he has brought in a lot of innovations which are commended, even though at some point one of the systems failed him. For instance, the introduction of technology. Before after the garden, there was a clamor for having the thing, the electronic voting and all that, which to a large extent he promoted. That is also good. We talk about the measure taken on the voters register. He also did a lot in that, cleaning up the register. The voters register to ensure that people who did multiple registration do not have the chance of using that against any particular candidate or in favor of their own candidate. That is something that should be commended. He also, the continuous voters registration that he also introduced was very, very significant in swelling the number of voters. I will make you one Nigeria to have a record of the highest database of voters in the country, which can be relied upon. And you see, one advantage of that, or disadvantage to some persons, is that this acquisition of a section of the country having younger persons to come and vote. If that community makes that mistake of doing that, it means you have automatically turned that child to 18 years. That's the implication. You have automatically taken an 8-year-old child or 10 years or 12 or what, you have automatically made him 18 because by the record, it's not up to, so it may conflict with other data that child has. To a large extent, it's going to clean up the system. It's something that's worth commending. And I know also that yes, there has always been engagement between INEC and civil society and all those who are interested in election monitoring, but I think he stepped it up. He elevated that engagement so that we have a very strong what we call NGOs who are now beginning to make contributions, making independent research and all that, which the Independent National Electoral Commission is open to accepting these findings and working with them, even though there are times where they may not even agree with some of them.
Just before, because we're running out of time.
Okay.
Just before we move to the next thing, you talked about one of his legacies as the introduction of technology.
Yes.
Now, what is the essence of introducing something that eventually we do not get the benefit of?
Yeah, that is
and we still list it again.
No, you have to list it because it is there. It cannot be taken away.
Yeah, but
it is now part of the responsibility of the next person to ensure that failure never come up again. Now, Nigerians are going to task the commission.
Yeah, and we're going to task him
to make sure that the standard, there is no glitches in future elections.
All right, so dear viewers, just in case you're interested in this, I throw the lines open now. 08029938365. 08029938365. But just before then, so we've said so much now. Now, what do you expect of the new INEC chairman? What is most important? One or two things you expect that this person should bring on board. I'm starting with you, Samaila.
Yeah, well, of course, one will expect that the new or the incoming INEC chairman is someone who understands what his job description is going to be. And
how do you mean? What do you mean?
Well, as he's resuming work, he's going to be given a job description.
Okay.
But to a lot of us who will not be privy to read what's the job description, the details of what it is, he should know topmost should be a free and fair election without being told.
Just let me just interject here. This job description, could there be both written and unwritten?
Well, nobody can tell that. Nobody can tell, but I would just want to believe there's going to be some kind of riot acts to be read out to him at inception, because the man who is appointing him should have a one-on-one conversation with him. I mean, the president can tell him that, look, do your job. I'm not going to interfere, but let me know whatever you need. That, or ordinarily that will be what will be expected.
Yeah.
You understand? But in some circumstances, I can't tell if there's going to be any horrific. But yeah, the horrific can also be something that is going to be for the benefit of the general populace.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
But by and large, is that free and fair elections should be topmost on that list. And then, as we're preparing for a free and fair election, is that let's have a peaceful election. Peaceful, whatever you can do to make sure that there's peace during the election.
I think they are actually intertwined. You really can have free and fair elections where there is no peace.
Yeah. So
you can't.
The point is, it all depends on what side of the divide you are. Some persons feel it's free and fair. Some persons are saying no, it's not free and fair.
Let me ask. Transparency. Still talking about the qualities expected. Is it possible to have a totally apolitical chairman? Do you think it's possible to have somebody who has no interest whatsoever how the pendulum swings?
The last two, I don't really think they show any form of interest in politics. The two Mahmoud.
The last two?
Yeah.
Right.
I don't think there's anywhere, well, maybe for the Jeda himself, you understand, but at that point they were just there. In fact, they were just people who were either from academician, to, I mean, the system threw them up and all that. So you can't say their antecedents was not really political, you understand. So you can really tell that they were non-partisan.
But can you truly say, he was, do I recall that correctly? He was ASU.
Jega was something
was president of ASU at a point in time. That's some elements of politics. But that's more Now let's go to setting the agenda. Now you just talked about free and fair elections and peaceful elections to top. What would you have him do?
There is nothing different from what he's having. That is all what Nigeria is looking for. A free and fair election, which is a product of the man's conviction to transparency, which is a product of the man's conviction to a development of the country. Because when you have that done, when the system throws up people who genuinely came on the mandate of the population, these individuals will have no reason but to seek that mandate again by doing what is right when they should do it. But when you begin to have these doubts on the credibility of what throws one up, it becomes an issue where the man in office is thinking how he can circumvent the process in his favor so that he can continue to be there. So what we need is transparency. Transparency. That is what gives birth to free and fair election.
All right. Hello.
Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon.
My name is Gabriel from Wagwalada.
Welcome. Let's hear you.
Sir, I'm very interested in this saga. What we need is integrity, contentment, and honesty person. If those people can carry that thing along, if the person can have such a quality, Nigeria will have a good result. 2, election should not be announced in the night. It is evil thing that takes place in the night. Like all the election Mahmoud announced. It is
Mahmoud. There are two Mahmouds. Okay, surname. Okay, Mahmoud.
The outgoing
Yes.
the outgoing INEC chairman, all his election was nice. People take place in the night.
Is that correct? All right. Okay. So it's only vote. What if that's the time that
because you must also know the challenges of our terrain. Places where people have to go very far, like you are here in the FCT. There are some parts of the FCT you have to go through Nasarawa to get back into. So those kind of challenging terrain may require delay in transportation. In conveying the data and the result of. However, the electronic, that's where the edge of the electronic transfer.
Exactly.
The advantage of the IREV, which is promoted, advanced, and we have it. It means the details of the result can go in. And you know, when there is transparency, even the opponent, having seen from his own monitoring,
exactly,
he knows that look, this election,
nothing to contest.
There's nothing to contest. It is clear. He knows this is nothing to contest. That's the picture. Yes. You have seen all the building. It is easier for him to say, look, you have won. You've won.
And it's clear.
And that will save the country a whole lot of resources.
Trouble. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
Yemi Ataji is my name. I'm calling from Elon in Kwara.
Good to have you, sir.
Yes, sir. Mahmoud came, played his part, and is gone. Some people praised him, while some castigated him.
Normal, yeah.
But one thing I know is that there is no any INEC chairman that will go and score 100%.
No.
The reason is this: there will be election. Some people will win, some people will lose, and losers will never see anything good in what INEC has done. And we must also not fail to understand the fact that he is just one person out of so many. How many cases can he cover? He cannot be at every polling unit whenever election is on. Now, it is one thing for you to put somebody in a place, and it is another thing for that person to do your bidding. No matter how transparent INEC chairman is, if those who are working for him or those who are working with him do not align with his transparency, there will definitely be problem. And all the high costs in all electoral processes are also caused by politicians. No matter how transparent an electoral system is, the Nigerian politicians will manipulate. They will do anything to manipulate. Then for election result to be announced at night, I don't think that is a problem. Both night and day are for Nigerians. It all depends on how the compilation is. It all depends on the distance. So I don't think announcing election result at night should be a problem. But one thing that is very important, that both the umpires, the actors, the politicians and the voters should do, is that let us develop a positive mindset that with our democracy, with transparent democracy, Nigeria will go places. Thank you and good afternoon, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Ashaju. Now, let me just put this forward. The line is still open. Please do call in. 08029933665 is the number. Let's have you and have you weigh in. Now, is it possible for the people themselves to begin now to champion, to bombard maybe the media space with what they really want, so that the powers that be will not excuse themselves, even if they do not follow the advocacy of the people, but at least the people would have acquitted themselves of that role. Don't you think that that's a people responsibility?
You see, what I feel is our democracy is just growing, really. We can't get there one day. Maybe from 1999 to this time, one can say, yeah, we're making progress. I mean, there was a time in this country where before the bus that is carrying the election results to the state headquarters of INEC will be hijacked on the road and burnt to ashes with all the results. You understand? So I think we're just growing. But by and large is that there is no any system that is 100% perfect.
Yeah, we're praying that we can get 70%, 75%.
You see, a lot of times when you check what's the agitation, who are the people who are really saying,
can you hold on for this caller?
Okay,
please. Oh no, okay, go ahead.
Who are the people who are really saying the process that brought in the INEC chairman is not right, when the constitution has stated it that the president has the right to appoint someone? The president will not be influenced to appoint your own candidate that you want.
No way.
You understand what I'm saying?
Because his interest is his interest. Yes.
Everybody has his own interest.
Yes.
So you can put up some kind of emotional blackmail to make it look like, oh yeah. A lot of times, some of these people.
Okay, let's take this, Samaila. Sorry, please don't lose the train of your thoughts. Yeah. Hello. Mohammed, right?
Hello, good afternoon. This is Hamza Adamu calling from Mina.
Oh, from Mina. Welcome, Adamu.
Please, let me start this bombardment. This bombardment start from me.
Let what?
Okay, go ahead. Let the bombardment start from him.
Okay.
You see, yes. This is my personal opinion. The acting chairman now, we believe is an experienced person. This has been used to train her.
Yeah.
So I look at on that basis, she can probably be confirmed and let her be very patriotic and nationalistic so that Nigeria will have confidence in her. I got a situation where somebody will be brought from elsewhere with little or no experience. I could remember there was a time even asked to go to the second state and solve a second problem.
And she did it, yeah.
So it is my opinion that honestly, to look into and let that be confirmed so that we continue. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Adamu. In actual fact, recently there's been a groundswell of advocacy that leadership of the commission should be recruited from within the bureaucracy, so that you don't there's less politicization. It might not be perfect, it might not be clean, but at least it will be someone who's been groomed through the system.
And beside that, there's the issue of integrity that has been noted, as it were, around this commissioner. This current commissioner that is acting. So it is not out of place to just having thought of the resources you have used in training this person, having thought of the level of exposure she has been exposed to by virtue of the various activities, the elections she has witnessed, the one she has intervened in, and the rest of it, then it will be cheaper for the nation. Now that we are really teaching, instead of getting more new resources, getting more resources for training, you can have that person get the appointment and you just continue from there.
All right. Yeah, someone's been trying to get in. You can do that now. I hope that I know there are competing calls. I hope that you succeed. 002993835. Now, so that is one very serious point that needs to be promoted, I think. Let's just take this call, and after this, I think that we really deserve to have a breath of air. We need to. Hello.
Hello, sir.
Hello, welcome.
Thank you. How are you doing?
Fine, thank you. And you?
Yes, my name is Dr. Laura. I'm calling from Zaria.
Zaria. All right, go ahead, sir.
Yes, I think I want to appreciate you for the topic you have brought over. And then what I'm thinking about the issue of INEC chairman over the years. We have seen all of them have tried their best. But there is one crucial issue that Nigerians we tend to forget about. For me, election is a system where there are so many players and stakeholders. So no matter how prudent and transparent the chief of INEC is going to be, our political class are our very terrible stakeholders. So we need to do something about them. And then because they have the capacity to compromise whoever is there as INEC chairman or the security apparatus. So this is my worry and concern about who is coming. Because it is appearing that whoever is there, you could remember Jega was there with all his integrity, but Jega has to be compromised and stop the election even midweek.
That should be said. You never can be too sure. I hope that that's not speculation when you say it was compromised, but go ahead quickly so you can round up.
No, what I mean by compromise is that, there are other stakeholders. I'm not talking about compromise in the other party you are talking about.
What party? What party is that? What party is that?
That he didn't compromise, I think.
Working with some people that are not actually following his own rules.
All right, okay.
So, seriously speaking,
You have been exited earlier than normal.
because there are other stakeholders that are not making progress. Our political class in particular have not made any more significant actually in their culture and their way of thinking. They are always in the two order affairs. So they don't believe in losing election.
All right.
So we have this kind of people, this kind of players, then the INEC chairman is actually in a very big trouble. So we wish the president the best of luck in making the one choice, whoever is coming, and we wish our country the best of luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Lawa. Thank you. How's Zaria today?
Very beautiful and very clean.
All right. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you. Now, we've been talking about, several persons have said one person can't change it. You have said one person can't change it. One person can't change it. But we have this story, and it has not been controverted, that Lee Kuan Yew of Singapore, one man, came into the scene and turned around the fortunes of that great country. And that's a country. This is not just about the politics, the country in the multi-sectoral dimension of it. Turned it around, and that country moved from third world to first world, even right now as we speak. So what is this story about one person can't make that difference? Let's take this, even the break that we're supposed to go, maybe we just stick it out here. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hello.
Good afternoon.
You're welcome, sir.
I'm calling Babalada.
Your name is?
My name is Bashir.
Your name is were you thinking about trying to recollect your name? Okay, Bashir, go quickly. Let's hear you.
Could be network.
My name is Bashir Mohammed. My opinion on this topic is that the acting chairman, that woman should be confirmed INEC chairman. Why are they going to look somebody from outside to appoint as the new INEC chairman? I don't look at that as good for our democracy.
All right.
We should not even waste their time to search. Let's just confirm that woman. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much. That would be historic. If it happens, that would be the first time ever.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. That it wasn't like this administration is doing something abnormal.
Yes, they're not.
You understand?
If that happens, that would be the first time ever.
Precedents to say,
yes. Again, it would also mean that women are being given their
beside the fact of we are talking about experience here. She has been exposed to the system already. She has seen a lot of things.
She has demonstrated the very integrity.
She's also part of this innovation that have come on. So she's on ground and she knows. Bringing a new person will require learning.
That learning curve.
And that learning curve will be lots of time in carrying out some other things,
Right. So I was talking about Lee Kuan Yew.
Yes, go ahead. You see, the problem is this, and people, until we begin to face reality of who we are as a people, Nigeria is a complex state. There are things that will happen in this country that you can't try it, or things happen on other climes, you can't try it here. Once Obasanjo was in power, they once asked him, you normally have this monthly media chat, that Mr. President, is there anything that has given you sleepless nights since you became president? And he said, just one thing. And he said, what's that? He said, the issue of Mohammed Abacha. He said, why? He said, somebody stole your money and you saw your money with him. I said, give me the money. I'm not even making trouble. And he said, no, I'll pay you gradually. I'll give you back your money gradually. He didn't borrow the money, he stole it. And then you can't take back that money outrightly. He was giving you conditions. And I went to bed, I couldn't sleep. Because I know what ordinarily I would have done. But some people from that region where these people came from, the emirs came and told me, Mr. President, this is Nigeria. It was his father who did this thing. And that's why the boy has the liberty to dictate to me how he wants to give us back the money. That is Nigeria. It's a complex state. There are things that you can't try on some certain individuals because of politics and regionalism. There are people that are untouchable. You might feel they are touchable. Buhari, that we thought would have done that, he came and he realized that it wasn't what I was thinking when I was outside. He came and he realized, look, it's not just happening. Because every aspect of the system is being compromised. There are instances where you saw this thing glaringly and the court is saying, no, but you can't.
Oh my God. Let's take this. Hello?
Hello.
Yeah. Go ahead. Go ahead quickly. Go ahead quickly. Your name, your location, and you make your...
Good afternoon, sir.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm calling from Jos.
Your name?
My name is Jacob Azi.
Azi, go ahead, please.
Yeah, thank you very much. And I also thank the panelists, the panelists in the studio there.
They are
doing
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I sincerely concur to the idea that instead of going out to look for a new person to mount the INEC office, I go with, we should look inside. For example, those who are the commissioners, the college of the commissioners, who have experienced the rigors of election, they could be selected. At least the INEC chairman should come from them to be saddled with this responsibility, because they have the experience, rather than going to look for someone somewhere who has he don't know anything about conducting election.
Right.
So I agree with you totally.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Jacob Azi. Thank you so much. Enjoy the rest of your day. Now, Osadebamwen, what do you have to say? Did you conclude your thoughts?
Yeah, I was talking when I think
you want to conclude it?
Yeah. So what I was saying essentially is that places like Singapore, Nigeria is a complex state. I don't know the population that should be to our advantage.
It's a problem.
It's a problem. Because we come from different regions, it's a problem. That should have been to our advantage. And that's why when this thief or this corrupt person happens to be from a certain area, he becomes untouchable. Because his people feel, why is our son? Why are they doing this to our son? You understand? So those factors are very strong. And all the time, one of the issues you keep battling with in Nigeria, especially when you are approaching an election year, is the stability of the country. It's already a volatile state. So you don't want to do anything. And so immediately I become president, everybody will go, everybody will die. Because it's already volatile, you just want to manage it and see how you can foster the unity of the country the more. You can't take some of those extreme positions you think other people can take in other climes, because the unity of the country is a very important thing first and foremost. And we have people who are just ready to say, let it even go in separate ways and all that, agitating for all manner of things. And that's why whoever comes there, by the time they roll out security reports to him, he knows he needs to tread softly.
Wow. That's why the kind of thing that happened under Jerry Rawlings in Ghana will never be able to happen here, for example.
Yeah, it will be difficult. It perhaps might happen in the 70s or 60s, maybe.
Not now.
Not now.
Oh, it's worse now. It could even have happened then.
Not now that there is a high sense
of... You want to add your voice to that?
Yeah, well, I think... So, to some extent,
we will never get out of
to
this.
To some extent, I think...
It's frustrating.
I think while I share some of his position, I also believe that there are persons that may commit what you call class suicide.
I think we need somebody to
commit class suicide. It comes and when you are talking about that story, then because he has the instrument of state to deploy and deploy appropriately. And he suffers possibly the risk of being removed from the system. But again, it is something that is very possible. Why we see it as impossible because of this lie that we lie to ourselves. When we start when a man starts taking very decisive action, even at state level, they start telling our tongue. Now they give us an opportunity to come here. Don't come and spoil it for other ones who will come after you. Because this issue because development is not even. And it's not pursued evenly. And that is why you are struggling to make sure that you don't lose your chance.
And that's because also we do not see office as service. We see office as opportunity to just come get it and then service my people and to the extent that I can do it. It's that mentality that's really
look at how in some part of the country where some people are, no matter, forget about the difference in political alignment. You see how some people are commending the way the Anambra state government is meeting different parts of a state, reaching out to different parts of the state. You've heard the same story of Oti in Abia state, how it's reaching out to different parts of the state. So that engenders the people to say, okay, with this option that we have, and I think we should go for this option again, or it's not performing well, let's go for another. But for my community, this road that we have not gotten in the last 30 years, we have gotten it. So if he tells us that he's going to do, well, let us thank him. That's why we can attend to our name, because we carry our food stuff to the other community, and that road in that community is not very good. So let us support him so that he can do that road. When he fixes it, we know that makes our life better. And before you know what's happening, governance will just be very easy.
Yeah, you see, a lot has to be done, really, because we have to look at it holistically. There's also that part in this same Nigeria who, when we talk about the governor is actually working, the politicians from that state will tell you, is it the work that we eat? Yes. you understand? What they tell you is that what we are going to be eating. So, and the reality, some people actually, there's nothing else they are eating apart from politics. We saw how a godfather here in Nigeria once told somebody who was contesting, who brought maybe 50 million to him earlier, and somebody else brought double of that money, and he said, this is the one we are going to give it. The one who brought the 50 million, return it back to him. And he called him and he said, sir, what crime have I committed? And he said, you didn't commit anything. Somebody brought something bigger than your own. And he said, but why, sir? You already assured me. He said, no, I don't have any shop anywhere. This is the only thing I'm eating. You, as a businessman, would you have gone for a lesser fee? Oh my God. You understand? So that's the kind of system where some people are saying no, this person is working, other people are saying no.
But I'm very positive that this thing will change in the younger generation.
Yeah, well, so that's why I said our democracy is, we just keep growing.
Which younger generation that hardly have any interest in politics or national development? I've had privileges in music. I've had privileges.
Among the same youth, I've had privileges in attending some Twitter space meetings. You just be amazed at the level of engagement and connection. So you can't tell.
Yeah.
All right, you can't tell, but we do know that we can tell that Nigeria's got a great future ahead, and the potential is there, but we must turn potential to reality. It's our responsibility, and I hope that we rise to that challenge. It's been a fantastic time out here. If you followed us, maybe you should send us a message of how you feel about this. You can send it to the number. We can check that out later. Put your name there and send us a message via the same phone number. I've had with me fantastic gentlemen from my far right. It's Samaila, Musa,
yes.
And I mean, many people on the number of occasions after the show have called me aside and say, you need that person now, sir. I've never said this before, but that's it.
It's all right.
Fantastic diction, depth, articulate. You're welcome once again.
Thank you so much.
And if we tell you to come every day, please don't push. And thank you so very much, Osariti. Fantastic. It's by right. Okay, we'll take a break.